but a toy, for the rain it raineth every day, with a high ho, the wind and the rain, and the rain it raineth every day.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Wheel of Shakespeare Challenge. We unfortunately missed last week. I probably because I created the announcement a little bit too late, and only a couple people showed up. Wasn't enough to get around going. But we got a good group today. I got myself, Sheila, John, Bill, and Henry to perform randomly selected by the wheel performances of Shakespeare monologues and scenes for you guys today, based on the randomly chosen order in advance. Bill is going to perform our first monologue today, and then I think I'm next. I'm on deck after him. Let me build the stream, and I'll find. Let's get the wheel up here. Here we go. Okay, so we're spinning for Bill now. So Bill's going to do He who the sword of heavens, measure for measure, at the end of Act 3, Scene 2. Okay, so whenever you're ready, go ahead.
He who the sword of heaven will bear should be as holy as severe, patterning himself to know grace to stand, and virtue go. More nor less to others paying than by self-offences weighing. Shame to him whose cruel striking kills for faults of his own liking. Twice treble shame on Angelo, to weed my vice and to let his grow. Oh, what may man within him hide, though angel on the outer side? How may likeness made in crimes, making practices on the times, to draw with idle spider's strings, most ponderous and substantial things? Craft against vice I must apply. With Angelo tonight I shall lie, his old betrothed but despised. So disguised shall, by the disguised, pay with falsehood, false exacting, and perform an old contracting. End.
Okay, great. So it is my turn now. I'll go. John is on deck. John will perform after I do. A Duke of Morocco, the first brigade. Okay. The first of gold, who this inscription bears, who chooseth me shall gain what many men desire. The second silver, which this promise carries, who chooseth me shall get as much as he deserves. The third, dull lead, or the warning all is blunt, who chooseth me must give and hazard all he hath. How shall I know if I do choose right? Some God direct my judgment. Let me see, I will survey the inscriptions back again. What says the leaden casket? Who chooseth me must give and hazard all he hath. Must give. For what? For lead? Hazard for lead? This casket threatens. Men that hazard all do it in hope of fair advantages. A golden mine stoops not to show of dross. I'll then not give nor hazard aught for lead. What says the silver with her virgin hue? Who chooseth me shall get as much as he deserves. As much as he deserves? Pause there, Morocco, and weigh thy value with an even hand. If thou beest rated by thy estimation, thou dost deserve enough. And yet enough may not extend so far as to the lady. And yet to be afeard of my deserving were but a weak disabling of myself. As much as I deserve, why, that's the lady. I do in birth deserve her, and in fortunes, in graces, and in qualities of breeding. But more than these, in love I do deserve. What if I strayed no further, but chose here? Let's see once more this saying graved in gold. Who chooseth me shall gain what many men desire. Why, that's the lady. All the world desires her. From the four corners of the earth they come to kiss this shrine, this mortal breathing saint. The Hibernian desert and the vasty wilds of wide Arabia are as thoroughfares now princes come view fair Portia. The watery kingdom, whose ambitious head spits in the face of heaven, is no bar to stop the foreign spirits. But they come, as o'er a brook, to see fair Portia. One of these three contains her heavenly picture. Is like that lead contains her? 'Twere damnation to think so base a thought. It were too gross to rid her cerecloth in the obscure grave. Or shall I think in silver she's immured, being 10 times undervalued to tried gold? Oh, sinful thought! Never so rich a gem was set to worse than gold. They have in England a coin that bears the figure of an angel stamped in gold, but that's insculped upon. But here an angel in a golden bed lies all within. Deliver me the key. Here do I choose, and thrive as I may. Okay, that was fun. I don't think I've ever done that one before. So, John, you are up, and Henry is on deck. So, John, then Henry. Okay. So, John is going to do. Richard, jockey of it's one of the. I think it's the one of the closing, the pep talk to their troops before the Battle of Bosworth begins. Jockey of Norfolk, Act 5, Scene 3.
Almost there.
Okay. So whenever you're ready, go.
Oh, and excuse me, what does it start with, please?
Jockey of Norfolk.
Okay. Wow. Long scene. I'm scrolling. Haven't seen it. I haven't been able to pick it up yet. Okay. Jockey of Norfolk, be not too bold, for Dickon thy master is bought and sold. A thing devised by the enemy. Go, gentlemen, every man unto his charge. Let not our babbling dreams affright our souls. Conscience is but a word that cowards use, devised at first to keep the strong in awe. Our strong arms be our conscience, swords our law. March on, join bravely, let us to it pell-mell, if not to heaven, then hand in hand to hell. What shall I say more than I have inferred? Remember whom you are to cope withal, a sort of vagabonds, rascals, and runaways, a scum of Bretons and base lackey peasants, whom their o'er-cloyed country vomits forth to desperate ventures and assured destruction. Lost it. You sleeping safe, they bring you to the unrest. You having lands and blessed with beauteous wives, they would restrain the one, disdain the other. And who doth lead them but a paltry fellow, long kept in Bretagne at our mother's cost? A milksop, one that never in his life felt so much cold as his shoes in snow. Let's whip these stragglers o'er the seas again. Lash hence these o'erweening rags of France, these famished beggars weary of their lives, who but for the dreaming on this fund exploit, for want of means, poor rats, and hang themselves. If we be conquered, let men conquer us, and not these bastard Bretons, whom our fathers have in their own land beaten, bobbed, and thumped, and in record. Let them, the heirs of shame, shall these enjoy our lands, lie with our wives, ravish our daughters? Hark, I hear their drum. Fight, gentlemen of England, fight, bold yeomen. Draw, archers, draw your arrows to the head. Splat your proud horses hard and ride in blood. Amaze the welkin with your broken staves. End.
Okay, very nice. Okay, so we still have Henry and Sheila to do monologues before we spin for scenes. Henry is going to do Mercutio, the Queen Mab's Act 1, Scene 4. So whenever you're ready, go ahead.
Okay, found it. Oh, then I see Queen Mab hath been with you. She is the fairy's midwife, and she comes in shape no bigger than an agate stone on the forefinger of an alderman, drawn with a team of little atomies athwart men's noses, as they lie asleep. Her wagon spokes made of long spider's legs, the cover of the wings of grasshoppers, the traces of the smallest spider's web, the collars of the moonshine's watery beams, her whip of cricket's bone, the lash of film, her wagoner, a small grey-coated gnat, not so big as a round little worm, pricked from the lazy finger of a maid. Her chariot is an empty hazelnut, made by the joiner, squirrel, or old grub, time out of mind, the fairies' coachmakers. And in this state she gallops night by night through lovers' brains, and then they dream of love, or courtiers' knees that dream on curtsies straight, or lawyers' fingers who straight dream on fees, or ladies' lips who straight on kisses dream, which oft the angry mab with blisters plagues, because their breaths are with sweetmeats tainted are. Sometimes she gallops o'er a courtier's nose, and then dreams he of smelling out a suit, and sometime comes she with a tithe pig's tail, tickling the parson's nose as he lies asleep, then dreams he of another benefice. Sometimes she driveth over a soldier's neck, and then dreams he of cutting foreign throats, of breaches, ambuscados, Spanish blades, of health's 5 fathom deep. And then anon drums in his ear, at which he starts and wakes, and being thus frighted, swears a prayer or two, and sleeps again. This is that very mab that plats the manes of horses in the night, and bakes the elf flocks in foul sluttish hairs, which once untangled much misfortune bodes. This is the hag, when maids lie on their backs, that presses them and learns them first to bear, making them women of good carriage. This is she. True, I talk of dreams which are the children of an idle brain, begot of nothing but vain fantasy, which as thin of substance as the air, and more inconstant than the wind, who woos even now the frozen bosom of the north, and being angered, puffs away from thence, turning his face to the dew-dropping south. I fear too early, for my mind misgives some consequences yet hanging in the stars shall bitterly begin this fearful date with this night's revels, and expire the term of a despised life, closed in my breath by some vile forfeit of untimely death. But he that hath the steerage of my course, direct my sail. On, lusty gentlemen!
Okay, great job. So lastly, we have Sheila to perform her monologue before we spin for scenes, and Sheila is going to do... My Bolingbroke, brings forth these men. Execution, bushy and green. Richard II, Act 3, Scene 1. I believe top of the scene. It's actually most of the scene is delivering a long monologue. Bolingbroke starts. Okay, whenever you're ready.
Bring forth these men, bushy and green. I will not vex your souls, since presently your souls must part your bodies. With too much urging your pernicious lives, for 'twere no charity. Yet to wash your blood from off my hands, here in the view of men, I will unfold some cause of your deaths. You have misled a prince, a royal king, a happy gentleman in blood and lineaments, by your unhappied and disfigured clean. You have in manner with your sinful hours made a divorce betwixt his queen and him, broke the possession of a royal bed, and stained the beauty of a fair queen's cheeks with tears drawn from her eyes by your foul wrongs. Myself, a prince by fortune of my birth, near to the king in blood and near in love, till you did make him misinterpret me, have stooped my neck under your injuries, and sighed my English breath in foreign clouds, eating the bitter bread of banishment. Whilst you have fed upon my signories, disparked my parks, and felled my forest woods, from my own windows torn my household coat, raised out my impress, leaving me no sign save men's opinions and my living blood to show the world I am a gentleman. This and much more than twice all this condemns you to the death. See them delivered over to execution and the hands of death. Scene.
Okay, awesome. So great job today, everybody, on the monologues. Now let's get some scenes randomly chosen. We need scenes for the roles for 5 people. And so first up, in scenes will be the Winters Trio, Leontes and Camilo. And all's well that ends well, Parolas and Helen. Okay, so and there's 5 of us, so the 5th choice will be doing a second monologue. So the 5, so we'll choose in the opposite order that we perform monologues in. The 5 choices again being Leontes or Camilo in Winter's Tale Act 1 Scene 2, Parolas or Helena in All's Well, and the 5th choice is to do a second monologue. So Sheila gets the first choice among those 5. What would you like?
I'll do Parolas.
Okay. So we'll do Parolas.
Well, I know somebody who might want to do Helena, I'm just saying.
Bill, what would you like?
Isn't it me?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I said,
Oh,
sorry, I called you Henry. Yeah, what would you like? Henry, what would
I
you like?
guess I'll do. I don't know any of those. Leontes.
Leontes. There'll be a Leontes. John, what would you like?
Camilo.
Camilo. Helen or I will take a second monologue, and so that leaves Bill. So Bill will be Helena. So we'll do Winter's Tale Act 1 Scene 2. Henry and John are going to do Leontes and Camilo. Then Sheila and Bill will do Parolas and Helena. And All's Well that ends well Act 1 Scene 1. And then I will do a second monologue. So let me create the banner for
This is Winter's Tale 1-2, is it?
yes. So whenever you guys are ready.
Where is it in the scene? Do you know? Oh, I see.
Where does it start?
Oh, it's very short, isn't it? Because Hermione comes in.
Does anyone know where it starts?
I'm sorry, I don't recall. I think you'll have to kind of search. Maybe between the two of you can agree where you're going to start. It's been a while since I've seen this scene.
All right.
Well, the scene is.
So it's a long scene. It's probably
right. So if we're about
Yeah, and sometimes scenes that look really short because somebody comes in. I mean, it's really like one person has. If it's interrupted by one person coming in with one line and then they leave, I would encourage you just you can cut that and just
I can see.
make
I can
make
see.
it continuous to make it a longer scene if that makes it better for you guys.
I can see where it starts now. It's about line 305, John.
Okay, I don't have the page markers. Can you tell me who speaks first and what are their first words, please?
Well, Leontes says, "Go
Wait, I
play
think
Maximilius," and it says, "Exit Maximilius," and then he says, "Camillo, this great stir will yet stay longer."
okay.
Did you find it?
Yeah. You had much ado to make his anchor hold. When you cast out, it still came home.
Didst note it?
He would not stay at your petitions, made his business more material.
Didst perceive it? They're here with me already, whispering, rounding. Sicilia is as so forth. 'Tis far gone. When I shall gust it last. How came't, Camillo, that he did stay
At the good queen's entreaty,
at the Queen's bet? Good. Should be pertinent. But so it is not. Was this taken by any understanding pate but thine? For thy conceit is soaking, will draw in more than the common blocks, not noted is't, but of the finer natures, by some severals of head-piece extraordinary, lower messes, perchance, are to this business purblind, say.
business, my lord. I think most understand Bohemia stays here longer.
Huh.
Stays here longer.
Aye, but why?
To satisfy your highness and the entreaties of our most gracious mistress.
Satisfy? The entreaties of your mistress satisfy? Let that suffice. I have trusted thee, Camillo, with all the nearest things to my heart, as well my chamber counsels, wherein priest-like thou hast cleansed my bosom. I from thee departed thy penitent reformed. But we have been deceived in thy integrity, deceived in that which seems so.
Be it forbid, my lord.
To bide upon't, thou art not honest, or if thou inclinest that way, thou art a coward, which hoxes honesty behind, restraining from course required. Or else thou must be counted a servant grafted in my serious trust, and therein negligent. Or else a fool, that seest a game played home, the rich stake drawn, and takest it all for jest.
My gracious lord, I may be negligent, foolish, and fearful. In every one of these no man is free, but that his negligence, his folly, fear, among the infinite doings of the world, sometimes put forth in your affairs, my lord, if ever I was wilful, negligent, it was my folly. If industriously I played the fool, it was my negligence. Not weighing well the end, if ever fearful to do a thing where I the issue doubted. Where of the execution did cry out against non-performance, 'twas a fear which oft inflicts the wisest. These, my lord, are much allowed infirmities that honesty is never free of. But beseech your grace, be plainer with me. Let me know my trespass by its own visage. If then deny it, 'tis none of mine.
Ha, not you seen, Camillo? But that's passed out, you have, or your eyeglass is thicker than a cuckold's horn, or heard, to a vision so apparent rumour cannot be mute, or thought, for cogitation resides not in that man that does not think. My wife is slippery. If thou wilt confess, or else be impudently negative, to have nor eyes, nor ears, nor thought, then say my wife's a hobby horse, deserves a name as rank as any flax wench that puts to before her troth plight. Say it and justify it.
I would not be a stander by to hear my sovereign mistress clouded so, without my present vengeance taken. Shrew my heart, you never spoke what did become you less than this. which to reiterate were sin as deep as that, though true.
Is whispering nothing? Is leaning cheek to cheek? Is meeting noses, kissing with inside lip, stopping the career of laughing with a sigh? A note infallible of breaking honesty, horsing foot on foot, skulking in corners, wishing clocks more swift, hours, minutes, noon, midnight, and all eyes blind with the pin and web, but theirs only that would unseen be wicked. Is this nothing? Why then the world and all that's in it is nothing. The covering sky is nothing, Bohemia nothing, my wife is nothing, nor nothing have these nothings, if this be nothing.
Good my lord, be cured of this diseased opinion, and betimes, for 'tis most dangerous.
Say it be, 'tis true.
No, no, my lord.
It is. You lie, you lie. I say thou liest, Camillo, and I hate thee, pronounce thee a gross lout, a mindless slave, or else a hovering temporizer, that canst with thine eyes at once see good and evil, inclining to them both. Were my wife's liver infected as her life, she would not live the running of one glass.
Who does infect her?
Why, he that wears her like a medal hanging around his neck, Bohemia, who, if I had servants true about me, that bear eyes to see like mine honour as their profits, their own particular thrifts, they would do that which should undo more doing. I and thou, his cupbearer, whom I from meaner form have benched and reared to worship, who mayst see plainly as heaven sees earth, and earth sees heaven, how I am galled, might bespice a cup to give mine enemy a lasting wink, which draught to me were cordial.
Sir, my lord, I could do this and that with no rash potion, but with a lingering dram that should not work maliciously like poison. But I cannot believe this crack to be in my dread mistress. So sovereignty being honourable, I have loved thee.
Make that thy question and go rot. Dost thou think I am so muddy, so unsettled, to appoint myself in this vexation, sully the purity and whiteness of my sheets, which to preserve is sleep, which being spotted is goads, thorns, nettles, tails of wasps, give scandal to the blood of the prince of my son, who I do think is mine and lovers mine, without ripe moving to it? Would I do this? Could man so blench?
I must believe you, sir, I do, and will fetch off Bohemia fort, provided that, when he's removed, your highness will take again your queen as yours at first, even for your son's sake, and thereby foresealing the injury of tongues in courts and kingdoms known and allied to yours.
Thou dost advise me even so, as I mine own course have set down. I'll give no blemish to her honour, none.
My lord, go then, and with a countenance as clear as friendship wears at feasts, keep with Bohemia and with your queen. I am his cupbearer, it from me he have wholesome beverage, account me not your servant.
This is all. Do it, and thou hast won half of my heart. Do it not, thou splitt'st thine own.
I'll do it, my lord.
I will seem friendly, as thou hast advised me. Thank you, John. That was fun.
Yes.
Okay, great job, you guys. Okay, now we have Parolles and Helen, and I was looking at the private chat. It looks like Bill and Sheila agreed to switch roles on that. So like Bill is going to be Parolles and Sheila Helena, correct?
Yes.
So and you figure out where to start from. You're all ready to go.
Yes, Helena has a monologue. Excuse me. She has a monologue at the beginning and at the end, and we're skipping both of those. We're just doing
Okay, that's fine. So whenever you're ready, go ahead.
Save you, fair queen.
And you, monarch.
No,
and no.
Are you meditating on virginity?
Aye, you have some stain of soldier in you. Let me ask you a question. Man is an enemy to virginity. How may we barricado it against him?
Um, keep them out.
But he assails, and our virginity, though valiant in the defense, yet is weak. Unfold to us some warlike resistance.
There is none. Man sitting down before you will undermine you and blow you up.
Oh, bless our poor virginity from underminers and blowers up. Is there no military policy how virgins might blow up men?
Virginity being blown down, man will quicklier be blown up. Mary, in blowing him down again with the breach yourselves made, you lose your city. It's not politic in the commonwealth of nature to preserve virginity. Loss of virginity is rational increase, and there was never virgin got till virginity was lost. That you were made of us to that you were made of is metal to make virgins. Virginity, by being once lost, may be 10 times found. By being ever kept, it is ever lost. Just too cold a companion, away with it.
I will stand for it a little, though therefore I die a virgin.
There's little can be said in it. 'Tis against the rule of nature. To speak on the part of virginity, it is to accuse your mothers, which is most infallible disobedience. He that hangs himself is a virgin. Virginity murders itself and should be buried in highways out of all sanctified limit as a desperate offendress against nature. Virginity breeds mites, much like a cheese, consumes itself to the very paring and so dies with feeding his own stomach. Besides, virginity is peevish, proud, idle, made of self-love, which is the most inhibited sin in the canon. Keep it not. You cannot choose but lose by it. Out with it. Within 10 years, it'll make itself 10, which is a goodly increase, and the principle itself not much the worse. Away with it.
Well, how might one do, sir, to lose it to her own liking?
Let me see. Mary, ill, to like him that ne'er it likes. 'Tis a commodity will lose the gloss with lying. The longer kept, the less worth. Off with it, whilst 'tis venerable. Answer the time of request. Virginity, like an old courtier, wears her cap out of fashion, richly suited but unsuitable, just like the brooch and the toothpick, which wear not now. Your date is better in your pie and your porridge than in your cheek. And your virginity, your old virginity, is like one of our French withered pears. It looks ill. It eats dryly. Mary, 'tis a withered pear. It was formerly better, Mary, yet 'tis a withered pear. Will you anything with it?
Well, not my virginity yet. There shall you, master, have 1,000 love, a mother and a mistress and a friend, a phoenix, a captain, and an enemy, a guide, a goddess, and a sovereign, a counselor, a traitress, and a dear. His humble ambition, proud humility, his jarring concord, and his discord dulcet, his faith, his sweet disaster, with a world of pretty, fond, adaptious Christendoms that blinking Cupid gossips. Now shall he Oh, I know not what he shall. God send him well. The court's a learning place, and he is one
What one, Faith?
that I wish well. 'Tis pity
What's pity?
that wishing well had not a body in it, which might be felt. That we, the poorer born, whose baser stars do shut us up in wishes, might with effect of them follow our friends, and show what we alone must think, which never return us thanks.
Oh, Helen, farewell. If I can remember thee, I will think of thee at court.
Monsieur Perolles, you were born under a charitable star.
Under Mars, I.
Hmm, I especially think under Mars.
Why under Mars?
The wars have kept you under that you must needs be born under Mars.
When he was predominant.
When he was retrograde, I think, rather.
I think you so.
You go so much backward when you fight.
That's for advantage.
So is running away when fear proposes the safety. But that the composition that your valor and fear makes in you is a virtue of good wing. And I like the wear well.
I am so full of businesses, I cannot answer thee acutely. I will return perfect courtier in the which my instruction shall serve to naturalize thee, so thou wilt be capable of a courtier's counsel and understand what advice shall thrust upon thee. Else thou diest in thine own unthankfulness, and thine ignorance makes thee away. Farewell. When thou hast leisure, say thy prayers. When thou hast none, remember thy friends. Get thee a good husband, and use him as he uses thee. So, farewell. See.
Okay, great job, you guys. So, lastly, I chose for my role to do a second monologue, so I'm going to spin for that. Let's see what I get. I'm going to end up doing. Oh, Richard. I, Edward, will use women honorably. And I'll put it down as he's not king yet, so I'll put him down as Richard, Duke of Gloucester, not King Richard. That's in Henry VI, Part 3. Give me a second to find that. Okay, here we go. I, Edward, will use women honorably. Would he were wasted, marrow, bones, and all, that from his loins no hopeful branch may spring, to cross me from the golden time I look for. And yet, between my soul's desire and me, the lustful Edward's title bury, this Clarence, Henry and his son young Edward, and all the unlooked for issue of their bodies, to take their rooms ere I can place myself, the cold premeditation of my purpose. Why then I do but dream on sovereignty, like one that stands upon a promontory, and spies a far-off shore where he would tread, wishing his foot were equal with his eye, and chides the sea that sunders him from thence, saying he'll lade it dry to have his way. So do I wish the crown, being so far off, and so I chide the means that keeps me from it. And so I say I'll cut the causes off, flattering me with impossibilities. My eye's too quick, my heart weens too much, unless my hand and strength could equal them. Will say, there is no kingdom then for Richard. What other pleasure can the world afford? I'll make my heaven in a lady's lap, and deck my body in gay ornaments. And which sweet ladies with my words and looks? Oh, miserable thought! And more unlikely than to accomplish 20 golden crowns. My love forswore me in my mother's womb, and for I should not deal in her soft laws, she did corrupt frail nature with some bribe, to shrink mine arm up like a withered shrub, to make an envious mountain on my back, where sits deformity to mock my body, to shape my legs of an unequal size, to disproportion me in every part like a chaos, or an unlicked bear whelp that carries no impression like the dam. And am I then a man to be beloved? Oh, monstrous fault to harbor such a thought. Then, and since this earth affords no joy to me, but no command to check or bear such, as for a better person than myself, I'll make my heaven to dream upon the crown, and whiles I live to account this world but hell, until my misshaped trunk that bears this head be round impaled with a glorious crown. And yet I know not how to get the crown. For many lives stand between me and home. And I, like one lost in a thorny wood that rends the thorns and is rent with the thorns, seeking a way and straying from the way, not knowing how to find the open air, but toiling desperately to find it out, torment myself to catch the English crown. And from that I will free myself, or hew my way out with a bloody axe. Why, I can smile, and murder whiles I smile, and cry content to that which grieves my heart, and wet my cheeks with artificial tears, and frame my face to all occasions. I'll drown more sailors than the mermaid shall. I'll slay more gazers than the basilisk. I'll play the orator as well as Nestor, deceive more slyly than Ulysses could, and like a Sinon take another Troy. I can add colors to the chameleon, change shapes with Proteus for advantages, and yet the murderous Machiavel to school. Can I do this and cannot get a crown? Tut! Were it farther off, I'll pluck it down. Okay, that was a really fun one. Glad I got to do that one finally. So, great job, everybody. It was fun performing after we missed last week. Everybody in here. Okay, just we'll wrap up, but if anybody has any announcements, of anything else coming up, now's your chance before we wrap. Anybody have announcements? Okay, well, great job then, everybody. Great performance with you. I look forward to next week. We'll see you guys all same time next week for the Wheel of Shakespeare Challenge. Bye now.